Good morning. I'm General Chuck Burnfield, Commander of the Air National Guard in Charlotte. I'd like to welcome you to the first Air Guard Today monthly news magazine. This is a program that we'll be producing each UTA weekend featuring unit activities, changes to the UTA schedule, some future events that will be coming up, and some also interesting personal interviews. We have a number of talented guardsmen that will be working on this program, and we hope that you enjoy it.
You're looking at what many say is the greatest success story in aviation history. For longevity and dependability, the C-130 Hercules is the hands-down winner. This is where they're made. This is the C-130 assembly line at Lockheed Aeronautical Systems in Marietta, Georgia. Hercs, such as the ones you see here, have been rolling off the line since 1954. In fact, not once in 39 years has production on this line been stopped. More than 2,000 have been delivered to the U.S. Armed Forces and to 64 other countries worldwide. The main assembly building here encloses nearly 3.5 million square feet of factory and office space under one roof. In all, more than 11,000 people work at this Lockheed plant, where the average weekly payroll is in excess of $9 million. Yes, the C-130 Hercules has provided bread and butter for generations of employees, and there's a good reason why. Never before has there been such a versatile air transport. What the armed forces wanted in the late 40s and early 50s was a plane strong enough to land on dirt runways, a plane powerful enough to take off in a minimum distance, and yet a plane that was easy to load and unload, one that could do a multitude of different tasks. Lockheed's answer was the Hercules. Unlike any previous design, Lockheed basically took a railroad boxcar and built a plane around it. They placed the wings above rather than below to keep the cargo compartment closer to the ground. In order to provide straight-in tail-end loading, so much desired for quick access, Lockheed fashioned a high vertical stabilizer, which has become the Herc's most distinguishing feature. Last, but certainly not least, 4 powerful turboprop engines were added for maximum thrust and reliability. The result was a plane with greater range, greater lift, and more flexibility than any other airlifter at that time. And over the years, the basic design has stayed virtually the same. The fact is, Air Forces both here and abroad want this plane just as much now as then. We, the North Carolina Air National Guard, look forward to receiving our upgraded H models, which provide some of the most modern avionics and navigational equipment to date. Fully loaded, each new plane will carry a 43,000-pound payload over 2,000 miles. And once our conversion to the new model is complete, we will be fully able to meet any airlift need worldwide.
Hi, I'm Staff Sergeant Crowder, and you're watching the North Carolina Air Guards Video Magazine. Here's what's going to happen on Family Day. Even when providing humanitarian relief, C-130 crews utilize the skills they've learned for flying combat missions. A good example is Operation Provide Promise in war-torn Sarajevo.
From the window of a C-130, the Bosnian countryside looks peaceful. But every C-130 crew headed into Sarajevo knows better. As the crew nears Sarajevo, things get deadly serious. The mountains surrounding Sarajevo are dotted with artillery, and snipers stalk the area near the airport.
We rigged up the parachute doors where we're going to stand to build a little fortress there using the truck loading ramps and the chocks and laying some chains down on the floor in case there's a stray bullet.
No one ever forgets that he or she could end up in the crosshairs of this war at any time. Despite those concerns, crews have managed to fly more than 16 tons of food and supplies into Sarajevo during the past year. In the beginning, active duty crews flew the missions from Rhein-Main Air Base, Germany, to Sarajevo. Now, Air Force Guard and Reserve crews are flying most of them, while the active duty crews fly the night missions.
Land ho. What do you say we talk to Magic, huh?
It takes the entire crew to get the plane in and out of Sarajevo safely. Anyone who flew on one of the first missions a year ago might be surprised at the destruction near the airport. After more than 800 American missions into Sarajevo, the crews of Provide Promise hope what they're doing provides a little bit of hope for those people caught in the middle of this war. Sergeant Buddy Vickers, Air Force News, flying with the air crews into Sarajevo.
At a meeting here in September, the on-scene commander from the Martinsburg C-130 crash had these words of advice.
Two things if you take away from here, I want you to take away and remember. One is that it can happen here, because that's everybody in Martinsburg, you know, it can never happen here. We had 132,000 hours of accident-free flying. Everybody was on a high. It could never happen. And, you know, that's the old Murphy Law. That's when it comes up and kind of kicks you in the butt real quick, and it did. The other thing is, if you have anything to do with the disaster response force, sit down and talk with the other members to see what kind of agreements they have with other units for assistance. I think you're on the right track. I think you have to practice, 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 and even the practice won't get you ready for what actually happened.
Over the years, women have made great strides in the military and civilian worlds. In August, Dr. Sheila Widnall became the 21st Secretary of the Air Force and the first woman to head a branch of the Armed Forces.
1993 will be remembered as a year of change in the Air Force. First, the lifting of the ban keeping women out of the fighter cockpit. And now, Dr. Sheila Widnall confirmed as our new Air Force Secretary.
I feel in coming to the Air Force that I've met a degree of acceptance and enthusiasm that very few people have an opportunity to experience. And I'm really touched and gratified by that acceptance.
A graduate of MIT, Dr. Widnall brings impressive credentials to her new job.
Dr. Widnall has earned an outstanding reputation as one of the nation's foremost research scientists in the field of aeronautics and astronautics, and she's extremely well qualified to lead the Air Force into a future of great change and challenge.
One of Dr. Widnall's more immediate challenges as Secretary is sustaining a quality force despite continuing reductions and closures.
I think we are committed to maintaining a balance, and if we must draw down, we will draw down in order to maintain the readiness that we have, in order to maintain the modernization of the fleet of aircraft, and to make sure that we do not lose our ability to be ready to go on very short notice to perform the mission.
The new Secretary is also concerned about quality of life issues. During her tenure, she intends to touch base with Blue Suiters regularly.
I'm really anxious to get out, really have an opportunity to sit down with people and hear their concerns. And we will do the very best that we can do to take care of all of our Air Force people and their families.
A fascination with airplanes while growing up has led to Dr. Widnall accomplishing a long-time goal, serving as the top civilian in an Air Force that continues to open doors of opportunity to anyone with desire and a dream. Staff Sergeant Tony Hurst, Air Force News.
Larry Sprinkle here in the News 36 Weather Center. Let's take a walk outside and see how things are shaping up today. Wait a minute, how'd all these planes get out here? Oh, wait a minute. This is Air Guard weather, and here's your forecast for Family Day weekend.
Good morning, I'm Master Sgt Gimmel, 156 Weather Flight, bringing you the weather this Saturday, 16 October UTA. Surface synoptic situation over the southeastern United States this morning. Easterly and southeasterly winds bringing us warm, moist air off the ocean, giving low ceilings and isolated rain over most of North Carolina and South Carolina. In addition, a quasi-stationary front along northern Florida will increase the probability for low ceilings and rain here at Charlotte for this afternoon, with the potential development of a low along that front tracking along the eastern seaboard. Charlotte weather this morning, we have overcast cloud deck at 12,000 feet with 7+ miles visibility, temperature 59 degrees, and our winds around the northeast at 6 knots. Forecast for this afternoon, continued overcast going down to a 3,000-foot cloud deck, 4 miles in light rain showers with chance going down 2 miles in rain. Winds continue out of the east at 10 knots. High temperature day of 66. The forecast for Sunday, with the continued presence of the frontal system along the coast and the low tracking along it, is for continued mostly cloudy with chance of rain and morning fog. Low temperature tomorrow morning 55 degrees, high temperature tomorrow afternoon of 70 degrees. We may see a slight break during the afternoon tomorrow, but expect deteriorating conditions again as the next cold front approaches from our northwest, bringing us chance of rain once more. This has been forecast for your Family Day weekend from 156 Weather Flight.
Besides getting new H-model airplanes, we also have become part of Air Combat Command. I recently had an opportunity to talk with a representative of ACC, and here's some of what he had to say about our transition.
I'm Colonel Dennis Shoemaker. I'm the Deputy Division Chief in the Forces Division in Headquarters Air Combat Command Directorate of Plans and Programs. I think initially it's going to be a very transparent change. You've got a patch change. As with any change, you've got new leadership now from Air Combat Command. Personalities are different. I think overall, though, you're going to do your mission. The command and control is going to be pretty much the same. So that person that's out there in the field is when he gets on board his airplane, takes off and goes somewhere, it's going to be about what he's been having now. With respect, though, to quality, I think, with our emphasis, and, Air Combat or Air Mobility Command is also, in a move towards quality, is that, we try to get it down to that process owner, the person that's really out there on the ramp or flying the airplane, that's been in the wrench, doing the job, and, if they've got a better way to do things, if they can make a decision on how to do things better, then we want them to go ahead and make that decision, commensurate with the capabilities, the experience that they have.
ACC, Air Combat Command. Welcome to the ACC. Welcome to the Air Guard Today News Magazine program.